Start. Good evening, namaste and swadika. A warm welcome to both of you and to all the viewers to hashtag Women Power, a global movement, which is started by Mr. D.K. Bakshi 2 years ago. And he started this with help of none other than Dr. Kiran Bedi. This movement has spread to 23 countries. It's his aim that by 2024, he will bring 1 million women on a platform and connect them, which is kudos to him. And thousands of women have joined in, and he wants them to take this movement to journey of their excellence. And he's selflessly at it, joining all the women. I am Dr. Manisha Bose, and I'm a lecturer at Assumption University. I'm chapter head of hashtag Women Power Global Movement of Thailand. And I welcome my two amazing guests, Mr. Pavan Mishra ji and Dr. Anuradha Iyer. First, I will introduce you to Pavan Mishra ji. Pavan Mishra ji is a very well-known, a renowned astrologer, not just in India, but in Europe and America and a few other continents. He has done work. He's an amazing astrologer. Besides that, he's an author. He's been a life coach, and he has done amazing work in spiritual leadership for a Copenhagen Business School. He has excellent models on spiritual leadership and also applied spirituality as personal models. He also leads a global group of seekers, a spiritual group called Shrikula, where he selflessly and passionately does this work, and I've observed it very closely. But for me, what makes him super, super special is his book, Living Hanuman. He has written a magnanimous book, Living Hanuman, which is not just a commentary, but it is a spiritual collage. And everyone knows I can talk hours on the book because I've read the book in so many aspects. And this book is a very important book in terms of Indic studies. And to validate my point, it has got an article, a review of this book has got published in an academic journal for Indic studies. Now, a Living Hanuman book, it does not only introduce you to spirituality, but in some way it concludes spirituality as you penetrate in the book, and an inner journey begins. And that is the beauty of the book. And I will control myself from talking more about the book because there's so much to talk. So welcome, Pavanji. It is lovely that you're here. And you are the first man who has come on this platform. And I'm so grateful to you that so promptly you agreed, because I know how closely you believe in women issues and how you work on women issues. You mentor and coach so many people. And your coaching is not just ordinary coaching, because I know what you do, I know your models, and you're also going to be, your many books are under publication, which I'm looking forward to. And then I would like to introduce Dr. Anuradha Iyer, a very beautiful, dear person. She is a medical doctor, a professor, and head of Department of Physiology in a medical college in Haryana. I forget the name. Anu, can you tell the name of
HKM Government Medical College?
Yes. So, and she has learned Hindustani classical for 12 years. She also leads a Gita circle where they study Gita. She teaches Gita. She also mentors a lot of people. And what makes Anuradha very special to me is her book, Little Miss Death. Not too many people can write on death, can forget writing. They don't even want to read on death. And Dr. Anuradha has changed my view on the topic death. She's written a beautiful book with so much simplicity. And when I read the book, I called Anu and I told her in Hindi, "Marne ka dil kar raha hai," that I feel like dying. It's so beautiful. Only she could have written a beautiful book on death. And I think it's a must read. It's very simply written, and anyone at any age group can read her book and understand and enjoy the book, Little Miss Death. And it also has been translated in Hindi, and that also has been received very well. Anuradha has also written many other books, which are beautiful spiritual love stories. And she is in process of writing another book on Again, it is related to spirituality. So this is the reason where I wanted the both of you, two people very dear to me, and I've known your personal journeys and I know your conversations, to invite you today to speak on a topic which is women and spirituality, which is not women versus men, but just women and spirituality. And we understand it deeply. Now, before I start talking, making you talk on this topic, I would like to ask you that what is the difference between being religious and being spiritual? I have read that you don't need to be religious to be spiritual, and people who are spiritual are not essentially religious. So I will first like to ask Dr. Anuradha, who I very lovingly call Anu. Anu, what is the difference between spirituality and difference or similarity between religion and spirituality?
Yes, Manisha, it's a very big honor to be here on this platform. And I firstly like to thank you and thank Mr. Bakshi for inviting us here to speak about such an important topic, women and spirituality. And to answer your question, that what is the difference or similarities between religion and spirituality, I feel that religion is made by man. You know, human beings create religion, and they have a sort of something rigid for people to follow. And there is a certain level of fear and commitment associated with religion. Spirituality is more free flowing. It is something which comes from your heart, comes from within. And, you know, it gives a lot of freedom for you to be what you really are. So for me, these two things are a little different. And I would like to personally say that in my journey, I've always been attracted towards spirituality. My parents brought me up like that. There were never ever any religious restrictions on me. Though we are Ayers, you know, Ayers are devotees of Shiva, and Iyengars are devotees of Vishnu. But from childhood, my grandmother sang about Krishna. And therefore, I learned to love Krishna. Like I think many people who know me, they know that I'm a Krishna devotee. So there is no restriction in my mind. I feel that spirituality gives you that freedom.
Beautiful. Yeah, so I just very, very well said. Pavanji, what would you like to add to this?
Dr. Anuradha has already answered it very well. I would only say that the similarity between religion and spirituality is as much as saying the relationship between blue color and the sky. When we say sky is blue color, it appears to be true. Mostly people confuse spirituality as religion, or religion even to be a vehicle of spirituality. In fact, I feel both are totally divergent. To qualify it, spirituality, let us understand spirituality. Spirituality comes from the word spirit, which means a certain life principle, a certain principle that gives life to physical bodies. That is the definition of spirituality.
Beautiful.
The definition of spirit. Spirit also means the breath. So spirituality is the understanding or anchoring in the life itself, existence itself. That is spirituality.
Beautiful.
Religion, on the other hand, is a whole lot of set of rules, regulations, dogmas, cultural narratives, stories, understanding, all put together. Philosophies, as Dr. Anuradha said, they are all man-made. However, they have a purpose. Somewhere or the other, some small part of religion helps us in approaching spirituality or an understanding of it, if one may need to do that. Otherwise, the access to one's spirituality is open to each and everyone, irrespective whether one believes in spirituality or not. So that's the divergence.
Very, very beautifully put across. So, Pavanji, can I ask you a question? So, religion leads to spirituality, or it comes under the umbrella of spirituality which is vast, because many rituals, many things, like many practices are religious and spiritual as well. For example, fasting, for example, practice of silence, for example, praying to sun for energy. So they have some relation to it. And is it that religion, some religious aspects, and every religion is leading one to oneself in as spirituality? Would you qualify that?
Just a very small, tiny part of religion. Otherwise not. I'll tell you something. Take an example of spirituality, and then you will understand whether religion is needed at all. One day, I was walking by the street, and you know how streets in India are. Sometimes there is a whole drain overflowing. So a dirty drain overflowing, and a mother pig laying in that dirt, feeding her piglets. Suddenly I see from the other side, two puppies. They might have been born just a day or two before. They just wobbled across the street in front of me. Went up to the mother pig, looked around, and they found two tits available. So the both of them climbed on top of the piglets. There were two tits on top and started suckling that. The mother pig just looked up and just checked out, because she could make that these are not my kids through the teeth. And then she relaxed. These are two kids who are having milk. That is life. Nurturing life. That is femininity. That is life spirituality, life. Anything you write about it, anything, any practice you do will not lead to that. It is the same thing as Bishnoi women. They feed their baby on one breast and a deer's baby on the other breast. They don't belong to any religion. They are the natives of Rajasthan and Gujarat, that belt. They know nothing about religion, but they are goddesses themselves. And no learning, no spiritual textbook teaches that we should offer one breast to our baby and the other breast to a puppy or to a deer's baby or to a pig's baby. Therefore, whatever we do within the umbrella of religion is some kind of a preparation or somewhat cultural framework of putting things together. But to do with deep spirituality, you need to drop religion and walk towards it.
Okay, very beautiful. And you gave such an amazing example. So we established that spirituality is a-religious, also to certain extent gender neutral. Yet it is very common knowledge that women are more spiritual. They have a very different connect with spirituality. And this is not just a common knowledge. There has been a lot of academic research that's been done. And I've read, I think from 2002 till recent 2021, I have read hundreds of papers which speaks of data where women are more spiritual than men in different parts of the world. And it has nothing to do with the demographic of gender demographic. It established that. Now, having said this, today's conversation is going to be about deepening our knowledge from what Pavanji gave the example of this, mother pig. So I personally feel, and what I realize is women's wisdom, it comes from knowing her own body, because the whole sheer experience of experiencing her own body from menstruation to childbirth to menopause gives her, it enhances her, an experience of consciousness. So this is something which I think what you said, and I believe is a part of spirituality. I would like both of you to speak on women and spirituality a little more to deepen this connect, which you have already started, which Pavanji has already started in his talk, which will be like, for example, we speak about women's intuition, the subtle energies she feels. We never talk about man's intuition. So how, and intuition is a very important part, a very integral part of spiritual growth. So spiritual growth leads to intuition, and you're a woman is born with that intuition. So I would first ask Dr. Anuradha to speak on it, and then Pavanji. Yes, Anuradha?
Yeah, a very interesting thing that you have brought up, Manisha. Uh, I have always observed that, women are born with so many qualities which take them close to God. So, we've read this message very often that God couldn't be present physically here, so he made mothers. So being able to bear this little cell inside her, which grows into a complete human being, a fetus, and is delivered. I mean, this entire process is miraculous beyond compare. There is absolutely nothing which can compare to this. The miracle of, giving birth to a young one and bringing that baby in to a level where that being can survive on its own. Feeding from the mother, from the mother's circulation, in the uterine circulation, whatever food the mother eats is taken up by the fetus. This entire birth process itself is the biggest miracle in the world, I feel. And giving birth to that miracle, to that baby, and then feeding the baby, bringing him or her to a level where they are capable of independent existence. This whole process requires all the feminine qualities, and all feminine qualities are spiritual. Shama, Daya, Shanti, everything is coming from that beautiful love which a woman gives to her child, we say, when she's a mother. And that same thing extends to parents, to siblings, to friends. She is just giving all the time. And therefore, spirituality is in her inherently. She doesn't need to make an effort. Whereas for a man, of course, a man is also, he brings up a family, he takes care of everything. In that way, there is a lot of giving on his part also. But I feel for spirituality, man has to make an effort. He really has to, anchor himself. And then only can he even come anywhere close to what a woman is anyway born with. I know I may be sounding a bit more towards women, but that is obvious. And many men I know accept this, that yes, it is obvious that women are born like that. They are born with that giving, that mother is there inherent in even a very small little girl. I remember I used to play with dolls when I was little, and I would imagine having that baby, even when I was not capable of becoming a mother at that time. So that quality comes right from God has given it. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. I'm happy to be a woman. So thank you very much, Manisha, for this question.
So beautifully you said, and it's so true. And I also would like to add here that even women who have not given birth to children or couldn't give birth to children, they still remain spiritual because they are born nurturers. The nature itself has made them that nurturer. So anyway, all the process they go through, the physical changes they go through, and I think that sets them apart. And I loved it when you said that all the qualities which needs for spirituality are so feminine. They're very well said. Now, Pavanji, can you add to this, because you've written so much about it? It's always lovely to hear you.
It is so beautiful that I feel either my mind has a teleprompter that Dr. Anuradha could read them all through, because whatever she said, I would want to say exactly that. However, I begin with taking a strong objection to what you added to what I said, Dr. Bose. I didn't say spirituality is gender neutral. I affirm spirituality is only feminine, only underlined. Okay. Why? Everything around life, all the qualities needed to conceive, to enwomb, to deliver, to nurture, to teach, to give skills of survival, all of these qualities, which include compassion, empathy, love, as Dr. Anuradha mentioned, forgiveness, all these natural qualities, all of them are feminine in nature. Not one of them is masculine. So the entire quality, all the qualities that can be sum total and called spirituality can simply be known as feminism. Spiritualism, feminism. Spirituality, femininity. Femininity and spirituality are synonymous. Now, I only would go a step further. When you said gender neutral, I would say yes, this femininity can be found or is found primarily in women and in men also, because men also have female hormones and women also have male hormones. Similarly, men also have this femininity, but as Dr. Anuradha here mentioned, for men, they need to cultivate it to an optimal level. For women, it is naturally present, that femininity. Therefore, they're naturally spiritual. And for men, they need to cultivate it. And the process of cultivation and the framework of cultivation and the curriculum of cultivation sometimes becomes a part of religion. And therefore, religion, I will call, is masculine. It has all the elements of competition in it, all subjugation in it, teaching in it, force in it, discipline. These are all masculine aspects. Therefore, religion can be called the masculine, poor counterpart of spirituality, if at all both have to be compared. So,
okay. So you say that spirituality is feminine and not gender neutral. I mean, this is a statement we take forward. And with this statement, I also want to, explore a little that in East, we, or especially in India, forget East, but if you see the Western world, they had a movement called feminist spirituality, feminism. There was a whole movement where they subverted, they wanted to subvert the concept of God, a very patriarchal concept of God. But we never needed to do that. In our culture, in our Hindu tradition, the femininity was so potent. It was not just present, it was very potent. And the goddess stood there, not only along with the god, but also on her own, with all her, not only with all her grandeur and beauty, but with her power and aggression. So, this aspect of worship of femininity definitely leads to some spiritual connotation, because, this is a part of a culture. Explore this and throw some light about how Shakti has been, worshipped, praised, imbibed in India, in our culture, especially in Hinduism. So, Anu, I would like you to answer this, and then Pavanji.
Yes, very interesting concept. This No Durga, the 9 days where we celebrate Shakti, where we celebrate the feminine power, has been in India for many, many centuries. And the goddess was always worshipped for so many qualities. She was always a multitasker. She could do everything. She could be the mother as well as the power, that is the Shakti. And she was kind, generous. So, there were the two aspects which were balanced very beautifully in the goddess. And goddess worship in India is as long as there is an existence of God. So, it came very naturally again. Like I said, the mother was worshipped. So the baby immediately looks at the mother. And that is what, Indian spirituality, Indian religion, everywhere we find that happening, that makes that possibility of the mother being, a source of everything, not only love, joy, communication. She's the origin for everything. Even a man comes out of a woman. So, this was acknowledged and established in India and Eastern countries. In the West also, of course, women were respected. And today, of course, it's a huge thing that gender women are treated with a lot of respect. But, worshipping her as a goddess, I think is very, very special to India. And we do it every time. Every year, we have 2 occasions where we have the 9 days where we worship the goddess. And other than that, also, we are always aware of the feminine power. And that gives a lot of power to this whole concept. So that's amazing.
Beautiful. Pavanji, I would like you to tell us a little about the worship of Shakti, different forms of Shakti that, you often talk about. Can you just throw some light on it?
First of all, we do not need to link worship with Shakti, because worship is again a part of religion. Shakti simply means what we know as a Hindu word, Sakti. I can do. The ability to do. That's it. Ability to do. Shakti. Shakti has
Sorry, 1 minute, Pavanji, your sound is not clear from your side.
Sorry. Am I audible now? Is it better?
Yeah.
So, Shakti is used as a common verb in Hindi. We say, "मैं ये कर सकती हूँ." I can do. Sakti is a feminine of Sakta. Sakti means I can do. I can read. I can eat. मैं खा सकती हूँ, जा सकती हूँ, बैठ सकती हूँ. Sakti. Every sentence where can do is used, there is Shakti in it. Shakti is the one which is being represented by the word Sakti. So whether we worship or not, that's another aspect of it. And now I'm taking you there, since I've asked it, and Dr. Anu has mentioned about Navdurga. There is one of the most important texts of Devi worship is known as Durga Saptashati. The 700 says the goddess Durga. And
So if you could just arrange your mic, Pavanji, lot of disturbance, we can't hear it. Maybe Wi-Fi or
can you hear me now? Is it better now?
no. You're talking something so beautiful.
Kindly speak to Dr. Anuradha. I'll try to change the network and see if it works.
Okay.
Sure,
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So, Dr. Anuradha, you could maybe say some things. I will ask you something about your book. Till then, your book, Little Miss Death, you have chosen death, something so scary, something so gory to so many people. Your protagonist, your metaphor is little girl Mritya, which is so beautiful. So was it a conscious decision to do that, to, take a little girl, a feminine quality girl book? It's a beautiful book.
Yeah, so just look at this picture.
So cute.
I got this beautiful painting made by my artist friend Mamta. And this little girl, what I wanted to do basically was to bring out death as something innocent, beautiful, loving. We have come from a source and we are going back to that source. Death to me does not mean the end, because life is endless. Soul lives on. From my reading of Bhagavad Gita, what I have understood is that the soul does not die, it is eternal. So we are not really dying. What I wanted to bring out is that life is eternal and death is something very, very beautiful. And it is like giving you a new lease. You get another chance to come back into this form and do something more if you wish to. And if you really want to go back to the source and don't want to come back, if you want to be part of this whole universe, you want to be the earth, the skies, the stars, the universe, the space, then you have the chance. So death is not to be feared. My main message in this book is that learn to accept death as something natural, something beautiful, something loving. Like you come from the source and you go back to the source. So like when we come out of our parents' home to study, we go back to the parents' home. So we feel so joyful and happy. So it's nothing to be sad, fearful, or to worry about it. Or even when some loved one leaves you, there's nothing to be sad. Be celebrated like birth. Like we celebrate somebody's birth, like a baby is born. Like that, the old person has left his old body, which had gone, out of physiology. We know that aging happens. The organs start to degenerate. Now that soul is free from that body. And now a joyful new body may be coming into existence. Or there may be, moksha, which is the ultimate. So death is not something to be scared of. That was my purpose of bringing up Britya. Britya is this little beautiful girl. She comes, she's there with you all your life. And she comes to take you. And my Krishna's lotus feet. She comes to take you to Krishna's lotus feet. So, it's as simple as that, to simplify. That was my purpose.
Very cute. The girl is the death in the book is so cute, and you make her stand in front of Yamraj. When we think metaphor of death, you only think of Yamraj, of coming, and a huge, ugly looking person. But when I saw your metaphor, it was so cute. I fell in love with death, and it definitely changed my perception of death. Where now I accept losing my dear ones, because you never really lose them. They might you will lose them in the body form. And that has been a huge growth reading your book. Also, what I notice is throughout your book, when you are talking about emotions, when you are talking about coping with emotions of death, everywhere you have dealt with women's emotion. Where a mother has lost a child, or it's about a mother and son. It's always women who have been more emotive, and who you have shown accepting death. And even when you talk about Shamshan Kalika, there are these terms, there are these characters who are all feminine, sometimes funny, sometimes emotional. Anu, you've done a fantastic job. So was it even conscious to explain death with a feminine energy throughout? Was it a conscious decision, or it just naturally?
I don't know. I guess it just happened naturally. I don't think it was conscious, but it is inevitable. That's what I feel. Because Kali, Smashan Kalika was supposed to be the body recycler who's there in the Smashan Ghat. And I've also now recently, I'm writing a book on Shiva. It's called The Power of Om Namah Shivaya. And Shiva uses the ash. And Smashan Kalika also gives you that importance of ash. That, today we are this body, tomorrow we are ash. And then again from this elements, again a body comes. So there is nothing to be attached to this body. That is the central theme of the book. And I feel very strongly that if we understand death, then we can live 100%. Every moment in this precious human form is given to us to connect with the divine. And if we can do that, then there is no fear of death. So Yamraj only comes to those who are afraid, who don't want to go. You must have seen that picture of Yamraj.
Yes.
With that loop around the neck, because people are afraid of going, and that too because they are afraid of the things they have done. They have not cared for their loved ones or whatever. There are so many things people are unaware. It is just ignorance and lack of awareness which makes them commit those fearful things. And that is when they fear, then Yamraj appears. And when you love and you just, embrace death, then Krishna comes on his chariot to take.
Or little Mritya appears.
Little Mritya appears and says,
like the way she holds Anuradha's hand
and takes her.
So beautiful. And I must also tell this, that Dr. Anuradha's book has this element, very humorous element, which to make you laugh. Read actually made you laugh because it was not just a conversation, it had a deep meaning. So Anuradha, you've done a commendable job with this book on death, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now we go back to Pavanji, and can he continue to speak about the Shakti and the different forms of Shakti which are celebrated.
Fantastic. I hope I'm audible now.
Yes, you're fine.
Yes.
So as I was saying, even keeping minus the worship part of Shakti, this is the understanding of Shakti as given in the most important, most sacred book on Shakti worship, known as Durga Saptashati, the 700 verses to goddess Durga, composed by Markandeya Rishi. In that text, in the 5th chapter, Shakti is described. That chapter is known as the hymn to the Shakti, Devi Stuti, and Shakti is described. And that is the sum total of the book. There is nothing else to be done. That's the hymn. And everybody, most people who ever have visited a pandal or have read a book would remember this hymn, Namastasya, 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 Namo Namaha. I bow down to you, I bow down to you, I bow down to you, O goddess. Now, so bow down to whom? So there Shakti is described in 25 or more forms. If you break the words, there will be many more forms. And the forms of Shakti are like Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Kshudha Rupena Sanstita. Namastasya, 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 Namo Namah. O goddess who prevails in every living being, Sarvabhuteshu, not only in human beings, as Kshudha, as hunger. I bow down to you, I bow down to you, I bow down to you. O goddess who pervades every living being as thirst. I bow down to you, I bow down to you, I bow down to you. O goddess who pervades in every living being as satiety. I bow down to you. As peace, I bow down to you. As contentment, I bow down to you. As forbearance, Shanti Rupena Sanstita, I bow down to you. Kshama Rupena Sanstita, forgiveness. And above all, the penultimate is, I bow down to you as mother, Matri Rupena Sanstita. But
I think you're...
Can you hear me?
Yeah. No, you're breaking, Pavanji. Your internet, I think.
So interesting this is.
Very beautifully he is describing.
Matre Rupena, he said.
Yeah.
That's the
I think
penultimate,
the internet,
the last one. Internet may be an issue.
Yeah, I think he'll just come back to it. I mean, it's brilliant.
So, not only as mother, but the ultimate description of the goddess is also Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Bhranti Rupena Sanstita. Bhranti means confusion, delusion, chaos. So where you see conflict, fights, delusion, full confusion, that is also the form of that divine feminine. Am I audible?
No, Pavanji, again breaking. Yeah, now I think you're back. Yes, try.
So what I was saying was that the ultimate description of the goddess is Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Bhranti Rupena Sanstita. Bhranti means confusion, delusion,
Yes.
chaos, frustration, all of that put together, delusion. And the goddess is worshipped even as that. So you will see life itself is being worshipped. Right in the beginning, you were talking about women's intuition, women being intuitive. Goddess here is worshipped as Chiti, Chiti Rupena Sanstita, consciousness. Consciousness itself is goddess, is feminine. So what remains? At the end of the book, at the end of the Durga Saptashati, those who have done it, there is a prayer which says, "Oh Goddess, with what may I worship you? Which word is not you that am I worship you? May I worship you with? Which deed or which action of mine is not you that I may offer that as my worship to you? With what may I worship you?" Is the ultimate prayer. The tradition of Shakti or feminine worship is as old, as Dr. Anuradha said, as old as the concept of worshiping, or leave alone worshiping, the concept of sacredness, leave alone sacredness, the concept of life itself became consciously embedded as a central cognition. Femininity has been accepted as something very precious and something to be protected, something to be nurtured, femininity. That is why the ultimate statement of the Shastra is, gods live only underlined, where women are worshipped. That's the statement of the Shastra.
Beautiful. Very, very well spoken. Now, Pavanji, since I've already asked Dr. Anuradha, I would like to ask you something on Living Hanuman. You made, right in the beginning of the book, you made a very, very strong statement. I find Living Hanuman has a lot of feminist undertones in it, where you made a very bold statement that Hanuman Chalisa in North, a lot of women are barred from going to Hanuman temple or praying to Hanumanji, and where you have said that just ranting Hanuman Chalisa is not going to help men unless they don't have a feminist-centered heart. This is the first time where I saw a person or an author, or the books I've read on spirituality, where somebody is so, emphatically speaking about a feminist-centered heart. So can you just explain this a little?
In Hindi, there is a word which has a very difficult translation. This word is known as bhava. Bhava just means to be. So bhava is a sum total of emotions, feeling, sentiments, emotions, all of that put together. Bhava. And bhava is a feminine state. And it is said that bhavahi devavasati. It's only in the bhava that divinity resides, any form of divinity. So till there is that feminine bhava, until there is that feminine upsurge of love, of devotion, and then whatever you say Hanuman Chalisa, you do whatever you have to do, that divinity recognizes your rants and understands it. Just as a mother understands the language of a cry of a baby. The baby doesn't know any language. It cries. Mother knows time to give him milk. It cries. Mother knows it has a stomachache. Cries. Mother knows it has done potty. Mother knows everything just by the cry of the baby, because the baby's cry can be interpreted as a language, which is the language of spirituality, and not the language of all the stuff written in Sanskrit or Yehudi or any other language, Zudaic language or Hebrew language or Arabic language or Tamil. All these languages are a reduction in expression of spirituality. Spirituality is a lived attitude. It's a lived state, and it's not a talked state or a discussed state of anything. The moment it becomes codified, frameworked in Hanuman Chalisa or any text or any mantra, it does not remain spiritual after that. It again needs to dissolve in your bhava to become spiritual. So it becomes a pill. That pill is quite masculine, you can imagine. And then that pill has to be taken in and has to dissolve. Then it will become spiritual. But until it is in form of a statement or a hymn or something, it is a religious text.
It's very, very beautifully spoken, Pavanji. And, in your book, we don't have so much time. There were so many questions I could ask in your book where I saw these feminist undertones. You have taken the whole Hanuman Chalisa, which is supposed to be very masculine, and you have fitted in Shri Mantra, what is it? I forget the name. No, Shri Yantra. Yeah, Shri Yantra, which is so feminine, where feminism is worship. That itself is very path-breaking. And I don't think anyone in the country has done that. And we don't have so much time to talk now on all those aspects, but we can, the reason you are here is because you have done this such a beautiful job when it comes to feminism, even in your book. Also, there is a whole section in your book called I Value, which comes out of pain of a rape victim, pain and agony of a woman, where you have written a whole chapter, and now you're also going to, do a lot of work on it. So that's where feminism stands, and that is where, I feel the way, Pavanji, you have celebrated feminism in a book of Hanuman. I have not seen it anywhere, and that's why that book is very close to my heart. Now, the last question that I want to ask you, that we are talking, and there was never a discussion that women are more spiritual, women are spiritual was a statement. So we were not here to discuss if they were spiritual. Okay, we know it, it's accepted. You all gave such beautiful, explanation, deepened our understanding. But I would like to ask you a question that while women are inclined towards spirituality, spirituality is such a strong feminine statement, which you said is a feminine, still, why we don't find, why women have not found voice in spiritual leadership. If you see, even the term guru is, the term itself is masculine. And it has not been only today. Even today, the way women are spiritual, if you take that data, and if you see the voice or leadership in spirituality, they have not found that kind of voice, which is something I wonder. Like, even if there is a lady guru, when they will say, they'll add a guru ma to it. They don't say a guru bap, right? So guru remains a very masculine concept, while women are natural gurus. So what do you have to say first, Dr. Anu?
Yeah. So, this is very interesting, Manisha, that Purush and Prakriti. We talk about the beginning of creation. So it is Purush and Prakriti. In fact, even when there was no creation, there was Purush, there was consciousness. Okay. And when creation started, then there was energy. So that is Shakti. So if we imagine a world where there is darkness, we say that Shiva is the auspicious one, but Shiva is also the complete absence of any kind of life, any kind of movement. So Shiva in his pure form is consciousness, is Purush. That is what the religious texts say. That is why probably the male, being spiritual is given a lot more importance. And, there are so many male gurus right now. If you see the top gurus in India, you have Sadhguru, you have Sri Ravi Shankar, you have, all the major gurus are all men. But, I made a list of 10 women who are also spiritual leaders. So let me read out that list. So maybe you can,
yes.
Women have always been spiritual. They don't have to speak about it. But women, I made a list. Anandamayi Ma is one who is full of love. She is in bliss always. Holy Mother Shri Sharda Devi, who was the wife of Ram Krishna Paramhansa, she was also completely full of love. Meera Alfasa, she was the Aurobindo ashram. After Sri Aurobindo passed away, she took on the ashram. She's also another divine mother, they refer to her as. Guru Mai Chid Vilasananda, she's the one who started Siddha Yoga. And then we have Anandamurti Guru Ma. We have Amma, the hugging saint. All of us have heard about Amma. We have Srimad Sai Raja Rajeshwari and Sri Mataji Nirmala Devi. And we have Anasuya Devi and Guru Ma Madhobima. So I, made a list. I said, these are prominent women. There is also Mirabai. There is Mother Teresa. There is Andal. In the south, we have a woman who was called Andal who wanted to marry Vishnu. You know, she was married to Vishnu in her heart. So there is actually no split in this. I see it very clearly that every human being has both male and female components. You know, it is the consciousness inside you is Purush, and the Prakriti is your body mind. So you yourself are complete. You have both male and female. So I feel this is what.
My question specifically was, and I think Pavanji, you can answer this also, that sheer volume of women who follow spirituality, who are genuinely very spiritual, as compared to the women voices represented are less. Is it that women don't care if they get a representation? They're so content with their spirituality. Is it because they do not to go out there and assert their spirituality? Is that something to do with their own contented femininity, and people who go out there has to do with their masculinity? Pavanji?
First of all, you mentioned about the word guru. Let me just quote a very, very famous mantra from Guru Gita, which everyone mostly knows who goes to their guru. And it describes the guru. And see what the description is. Agyan timirandhasya jnananjan shalakaya chakshur unmilitan yena tasmai shri guruve namah. I bow down to the guru who agyana timirandhasya, in the darkness of ignorance and not knowing, Gyan Anjan Shalakaya, takes the corellium of Gyan. Corellium, it's a feminine accessory to decorate your eye, the black suit. Chakshor unmilitan yena, who takes the corellium of knowing and adorns my eyes with that. To that guru I bow down. Who does that? A mother does to her daughter, takes corellium and puts in the eyes. Mother to the daughter. Also in India, mother to the son. Sons also, when they're babies, they get the corellium in their eyes. But only a mother. It's a motherly act. It's a feminine act of putting corellium in the eyes to remove the darkness of not knowing. So essentially, the whole process of guru, the whole process and the whole persona of guru is feminine. However, when we talk of whether men become guru or women become guru and things like that, and you refer to a large number of men prevalent in the religious or the ashramite or other spiritual organizations. Remember, the moment there is an organization, it is not spiritual anymore. Spirituality might be practiced in it. It might have been made for a spiritual purpose, but the organization and the dynamics in it are always masculine, and only men go there because only men need to learn the aspects of, they need to learn what is love, they need to learn flexibility, they need to learn not to hurt, and they flock in there and they want to read some principles and philosophies. All these philosophies of Shiva, Vishnu, all these names that put in, they are all made by men. Stories and philosophies, they are all masculine. And therefore, men flock together, and obviously men are the best to lead such men. Number two, in traditionally a patriarchal format of society, all organizations, all organized sector, whether it was spiritual, oblique religious, educational, or business, or any craft, all organizations were all male dominated, right up to the middle half of the last century. So there's no wonderment in it as to why women are found less in religious organizations. So that is the second point. And thirdly, women are much more home-centric. They are life-centric. They are not story-centric. Ram Leelas are not done by women. Ram Leela, the story of Ram, is done by men becoming women or putting beards or whatever. Women are busy taking care of their homes, making sure their babies are growing up, that the babies have food, that the husbands, after they have watched the Ram Leela, when they come back home, they get a hot cup of tea. They are close to life. So always in your mind, or I will request everybody to hold this in mind, that whatever is close to life and life-centric, arranged around life is spiritual. Everything else is a story that can be religious or cultural or social or anything else. And all the principles that apply to other social organizations like a business organization or any institution will apply to a temple or to a mosque or to a church or to a gurdwara. And therefore you will find less women everywhere, also in there. So that's no surprise.
Very beautiful. I loved the session today, and we learned so much that religion is masculine, but spirituality is feminine. And Dr. Anu enhanced that all the qualities which are needed in spirituality are feminine. And Pavanji, you mentioned that, spirituality is life-centric and women are life-centric. And everything else, which is story-centric, is not spirituality. So everything that's life-centric is spirituality. And this again asserts and empowers me to listen to all this that you have said. Now I would request Mr. D.K. Bakshi to come here and give a vote of thanks to you. I would like to say something about Mr. Bakshi. He has done very path-breaking work in HR industry globally. I mean, he's done it in Thailand. He's been a very key person to bring India and Thailand business ventures together. His HR sessions are talked about. But his office is full of awards, which, I've seen, I've read. But the thing that he takes the greatest pride is when he got the title of Honorable Woman. And that makes him very special and very enduring. And now that I'm working with him, I see that childlike happiness he feels, that he tells me, don't forget, I'm an honorable woman. And that's what makes him very special. That is the reason this whole movement has come through. So Mr. Bakshi, can you please come and deliver the vote of thanks for our two lovely guests? Can you hear me?
Hi, good evening, Sawadikap, Namaste,
Mr. Bakshi.
Sat Sri Akal. What an amazing session this evening. I could never believe that getting two powerful writers together on this show, that too somebody, I've got this book already so I can show it, Thanks to Pavanji. He got this book delivered as soon as I landed in Noida from US, and I got this book at my office. Thank you so much. I salute you for your ensuring that I get this book in time. I'm yet to receive Dr. Anuradha's. Be getting sometime next week. I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. I have been watching this show with our chapter head, Thailand Women Power, Dr. Anuradha, this Manu Bose, we call her Manu, Manisha Bose. When she talked to me the other day, she said, I would like to get these two people on the show. I said, we have never got a man on the show, except I have been the only one around being an honorable woman. And she said, no, you just see his thoughts. And then one side Pavanji and one side Dr. Iyer. I had a couple of interactions with Dr. Iyer, and I find her very, very interesting background and a profile. Pavanji, I'm yet to meet. I want to meet and greet him. I want to spend time with him, because today you have really made me to think very loud about one important factor we call WCB, world-class beauty in people. This is what world-class beauty is. One side, Dr. Manisha Bose sitting in Bangkok with her background of teaching in ABEC. Other side, Dr. Anuradha Iyer, we call her Anu Iyer, so I will call Manu and Anu better. I think that's a better word. Anu Iyer, sitting in Gurgaon and teaching at Haryana, one of the great institutions as a doctor. And other side, Pawan Mishra, who is somewhere in Hyderabad and Noida, between the two places. And when I got this book, I got mad, and the first thing which attracted me is Hanuman Chalisa. Those who are on this show will remember, end of 2020, hashtag Women Power did a global show on Hanuman Chalisa. We got women around the world to be with us, and we all together did that Hanuman Chalisa together. That's very powerful. In fact, that is the Shakti, that is the power of the world. And in fact, people who have issues, challenges, can go through that Hanuman Chalisa every day. It releases your stress strain and you achieve what you want to achieve in the world. Because Hanuman himself is powerful. Pawanji, when I was going through your book, and a couple of things which really attracted my attention is, I'm not good at Hindi, so I will take it in English. Ego, vanity, pride, anger, too much roughness and rigidity, ignorance, lack of knowledge. These are the 6 things which you talked about, Dominic, in your book. And that is where the issues and challenges of the life are. In fact, when I was looking at this book, and I remember when you said about Swami Ram, I constantly keep fulfilling all the desires of the devotees of Sri Rama. I am always aware of and are forever ready to fulfill this duty of mine. I repeat, I constantly keep fulfilling all the desires of the devotees of Sri Rama. I am always aware of and am forever ready to fulfill the duties of mine. Desires, passion, genoon of people to achieve something when you decide to do it. And in this book, I have not gone through this book fully, but I think next flight to Bangkok on 12th, I'll be reading this complete book in my flight. And before I meet Manu there, I think I will have a much better knowledge about the book. And there's one important factor which you talk about in this book is Adi Shankaracharya's, and this has attracted me. In the sense of my body, I am your servant. In the sense of an individual soul, I am part of you. And you are the whole, but as a very self, Atman, I am you alone. And we both are one. That is my firm conviction. Those of you who understand me and know me, this statement applies to my life. This is so powerful, this is so meaningful, this is so attractive, this is so brilliant. So I must thank Pawanji for beautiful contribution to the world. And I only said to Manu, I said, Manu, this is too big a book to be written. He could have written 4 phases because for people to digest this is tough. So I would urge next book you go 150 pages and divide, get 600 pages, divide into 4. Because this is so much of knowledge, of wisdom, what you have created here. Pawanji, मिलेंगे ना, गले मिलूंगा and बड़े प्यार से आपको इज्जत दूंगा, because that is the power you have created in this book. And let me go through this book together. I mean, by 12th of February. Having said that, I don't know about the book of death, which Dr. Anu Iyer has written. I call her Anu Iyer. Anu Iyer has written, and today Manu actually shared some of the stuff. I think that's going to be another interesting book for us to read, which I should be getting sometime next week. But looking at your program content today, looking at what has been discussed, it is getting connected to my vision. 1 million women on this platform, a crazy man talking about in 2020, irrespective of color, creed, culture, nationality, religion, around the world. Crazy idea. I was interviewed in 2020, April, and I was told, well, are you mad? I said, I am certainly mad. What I am trying to say is, because that is the beginning of this hashtag women power, wherein what you said today, Dr. Iyer, women is quality. And women is quality. And Dr. Kiran Bedi said on the first program, women is quality. My mom was a quality. My mother Amaji was a quality. The way my mom nurtured us and the way all mom nurtured their children are quality, 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 and quality of life. And you discussed so brilliantly how the mom, the mother is the quality of life, because they have that care, concern, compassion, communication, and connect. I am a gentleman. I am not a woman. I am known as honorable women in this process. But I tell you, in my life, I have seen women really, you said today, women have a sixth sense. Women have an intuition. This is a fact of life. Men also have. But women have the power of that intuition. There could be certain women where they will need in between counseling to support to get that intuition clear. But then there are people who have an intuition, women have all the time intuition. They always say, women have sixth sense. Huh? This is being taught. Women have sixth sense. Huh? So that is the fact of life. And of course, I love this word. The word called, which you discussed today in detail, word called Shakti. Shakti, 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 Shakti. In our organization, in my district, we say, you got the power, I got the power, we got the power. Hey, we are global talent. This is Shakti. And the Shakti is women. Women is the goddess. I certainly, I was telling other, I said, you're like a goddess. Absolutely, you are a goddess. Because women has that power of being the goddess of the world. And somebody said, I think, Pavanji, or they said, God lives only where women are worshipped. I think Pavanji said, God lives only where women are worshipped. Where's your mom? Where is your sister? Where is your wife? Where are your colleagues in companies, in organizations? Whether your colleagues with whom you work? The worshipness of women gives prosperity. In Thailand, Manu lives in Thailand, all the Thai women will have a locket of Ganesha in there. This is prosperity. So women is actually the wisdom. Women is not a weakness. Some people call women is weakness. No, women is not weakness. Women is wisdom. Women is worship. Women are the power of the world. We all men are mad about women. Am I right? I keep talking people about this. We are all, for us, my sisters, what do you call it? Rakhi is so powerful in life. I went to Afghanistan, even Afghan woman tied Rakhi to me. Not all 60, but 4, 5, they try to, that's the power. So the women have that power of this thing, and we treat women as the goddesses. Again, another one which attracted me today in this program is when Dr. Anu Iyer talked about her book called Death, and Manu was giving a lot of, Manu has read that book, I have not read as yet. Anu, that's a fact of life. When my mom left us in 2019, before COVID, we were all brothers, sisters, we were all together. We actually celebrated 15 days in this house where I am today in Noida. It was a celebration. हमने उसको राज रानी की तरह शमशान घाट ले गए उसको. I'm telling you, I've lost my mom. I'm very weak in that. She's watching me from there. This moment is because of her. And उसके बाद वो 13 दिन सब भाई बहन मिलके, रिश्तेदार जम्मू से, बॉम्बे से, चंडीगढ़ से, हर जगह से आके रोज we used to have celebration. Every day ground floor we used to have a katha in the evening. It was a celebration of my mom returning back at the age of 87, and who has contributed like an umbrella to the world and to the Bakshi family, where we have 100 members today. Death is to be celebrated. We have a live example in Thailand. In Thailand, when somebody dies, Pavanji, we go with a black tie, white shirt, and a black suit. Nobody cries. We sit down, Savadikap, and we talk, and we have puja. They call it puja. Nobody cries in Thailand when somebody dies. Manu, you must have seen. Nobody cries. But the dress code is white shirt, black tie, black suit, go and perform puja. And there is again like that, Parvi Tervika dinner, lunch, serve hota hai. So it's a celebration. So I am yet to see this book, and I want to watch and read this book of Dr. Anu Iyer to make it sure that I understand it the way Manisha understands today. And एक और चीज अट्रैक्ट किया मेरे को, पवन जी जल्दी मिलेगा, I want to see you soon. Namaste, 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 namaste. And you're talking, I bow down to you. I bow down to you. Whether forgiveness, whether peace, whether contentment, I bow down to you. 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 That's the power. उर्दू में मेरे फादर कहते थे इसको नदामत, humility. And those people who have that power of humility create power of passion to perform in the world, which is highly competitive. Therefore, having said that, the confusion between the spirituality and religion, which is based on certain life principles and which is based on certain rules and regulations, very brilliantly explained. मैं तो आज पहली बार, मैं तो भाई, everyone is spiritual, frankly speaking. Some are known spiritual, some are unknown. So by ignorance we are spiritual. We are into spirituality, but we don't know we are spiritual. But today's topic made me to learn a lot. I always say I'm a student of management and leadership, but today I was a student of religion and spirituality between three great professors. One side, Dr. Manisha Bose, one side, Dr. Anu Iyer, and other side, Pawan Mishra ji. Amazing experience, amazing understanding. And I was reading many comments on Facebook as well as on this. I can still see Facebook. A lot of people, Milani from, Spain is there. Vikas Kanungo is there. There are a lot of people there. And here also, I see Madhu Rainas and Anshul Sharmas and all that, all making some lovely comments. Niru Batra is saying, very value creating session. My thought goes like, don't worship women, just accepting them that they are all human beings, trying to figure out life like men works best. Niru ji, this movement of hashtag women power, a global movement, is especially for you. We as men are here to support you because we love women in any case, whether it's your mom, whether it's your sister, whether it's your wife, whether it's your daughter, who is the Lakshmi of your house, whether it's your colleagues, whether your people, friends who come to your life. You know, everything is not permanent that you have sister, brother, or mother, wife. There are people who touch your lives at different ages, different stages of life. They become part and parcel of your mission forward. We need to understand that and take that mission forward in life. Having said that, I would, I don't think, this is the difference between blue and what sky you said? That was beauty of life. Sky blue and blue sky. So with that, on behalf of hashtag Women Power, a global moment, and on my personal behalf as Honorable Women DK Bakshi on this particular platform, I would like to thank first Dr. Manisha Bose, our chapter head, Thailand, Bangkok, for organizing this evening. Along with, I would like to thank Dr. Anuradha Iyer, whom I am yet to meet, yet to greet. We have to meet soon. For her contribution, and I need your books, ma'am. I need your books, ma'am.
Very soon.
And Pawan Mishra ji, amazing. You are an inspiration. You are an amazing human being. And you can actually further strengthen my moment. Anuradha Iyer can strengthen my moment. You people can take it forward and make it happen. I don't know what to say, but I can say that it has been a very meaningful day for me today, staying at home and watching such beautiful conversation, which is highly intellectual. To a person like me, I am I'm always on the move. I could sit down completely and watch you, which is tough for me because I am always multitasking and multi-skilling. And people said, how do you manage so many things? But that's how DK Bakshi is born. That's the power of DK Bakshi. But I could see the power of Manisha Bose today, getting these powerful people around. Before I close and give it to Dr. Manisha Bose, ladies and gentlemen around the world, those who are watching hashtag Women Power a Global Movement regularly, we certainly will have some of the Zoom sessions, but not regularly because we are getting into face-to-face. Here I make an announcement. Hashtag Women Power Global Movement. First face-to-face session in Thailand, Bangkok, which is going to be on 26th of February, Saturday, which is spearheaded by none other than Dr. Manisha Bose, the chapter head of Thailand. She has many powerful women with her, and she has invited Dr. Suchitra Durai, Her Excellency Indian Ambassador in Thailand, as the chief guest. And along with us at hashtag Women Power, we have Gandhi Institute, Rangsit University partnering. And there are a couple of more women ambassadors who have been invited. There are a couple of CEOs which are invited, and they will be discussing on women power. There's going to be a very beautiful event in terms of, you know, some of the women sharing their struggle to success story. They will be felicitated. There are some powerful women in Thailand. They will be felicitated. And there's going to be some dance performance. There's going to be a Rembrandt Hotel, Soy 18, Sukhumvit, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Do not miss this. A new flyer is coming out by evening or tomorrow morning because there are almost 12 to 14 logos in that. A lot of people have participated to support us in that event. That is announcement number one. Hashtag Women Power a Global Movement. This is very close. because actually this 26th February event was on 5th of February, which got changed because of COVID to 26th February. International Women Day is on 7th of March, and we are going to have in India Habitat Center, an event on 5th of March 2022. And this event is going to be none other than my first women power on this show, Dr. Kiran Bedi. She will be the guest of honor. In fact, I was just actually on her show today. She released her book, Indra Nui released her book, and this on governance, fearless governance. What a powerful book. I am going to meet Dr. Kiran Bedi in next 5, 7, 10 days time, because I am releasing my first book on women power, 10 powerful women on 7th of March, 2022 at India Habitat Center. And I'm going to release a very powerful women power song. And again, there will be panel discussions on women empowerment. We are finalizing the subject. And we will be having some powerful women to be part of us: Malini Avasthi, Pooja Bedi, Pallavi Joshi, CEO of Noida, Ritu Maheshwari, and some more women. In fact, ONGC chairperson, who has just become chairperson of women, she will also be invited. And this event is going to be again full-day event. And we will have some of the women chapter heads from Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and of course from Spain, I think, coming to India for this event. Please do not miss. I would request Pawanji and of course Anuradha Iyer. I have already requested her to keep the date in her diary. She has to be there. I am trying to get Similarity Irani ma'am to be the chief guest for that event. That's going to be a powerful event in March, 5th of March 2022. And you can see Anshul Sharma is here, chapter head from Mumbai, already here, and she is planning an event in Mumbai in April. I think 7th of April she has finalized. So those are the two announcements which I wanted to make. And I don't know what to say, but I can actually respect this world-class beauty. WCB is world-class between A, an attitude, M, a motivation, P, the passion. Anuradha is attitude, Manisha is motivation, Pawan is passion. Just imagine, when attitude, motivation, and passion combines, what happens? AMP, this becomes the romance of life. And I would like to give a standing ovation to all the three women, all the 2 women and 1 man. I think I'll have to create your name also, Honorable Women Pawan Mishra ji, to tell me the women power leaders. And I give a standing ovation for your presence. Very powerful. Over to you, Anuradha ji, Pawan ji, some comments, and then Manisha ji. Yes.
Anu, Pawanji, you want to say something?
No, I would just like.
I'm grateful to be here, and I have no words anymore to express. I'm very overwhelmed by Dr. Bakshi's words and his emotions, and I really look forward to serving this cause with whatever humble little I'm capable of. Very beautiful. Grateful for this opportunity.
You are capable of many wonderful things, Pawan ji. ये पवन मिश्रा कोई ऑर्डिनरी आदमी नहीं है, पी पैशन भी है, मोटिवेशन है. सो आप तो कंबाइन है हमारे तो हम तो आपको छोड़ने वाले नहीं. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू लीव यू, यू विल सी इट. जी अनुराग,
पवन पुत्र हनुमान भी है ना?
पवन पुत्र हनुमान भी है, एंड इतना पावरफुल है हनुमान,
बिल्कुल पावर.
और आप तो खाना के वक्त है,
हम तो खाना के वक्त है, हमारे लिए तो समस्या ही नहीं है कभी. बहुत धन्यवाद आपका बख्शी जी, आपने बहुत हमारा सम्मान किया. बहुत धन्यवाद. आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल टू यू. थैंक यू सो मच.
आई लुक फॉरवर्ड टू मीटिंग बोथ ऑफ यू सून. And आपको क्या कहें हम, Dr. Manisha Bose? It has been a very interesting program.
Yes, Manisha was excellent. She was the binding
Just ask
factor.
I just asked questions. Both were amazing. And thank you so much, Pavanji and Anuji. You both are very close to my heart. And you both were here. And I would like to praise Mr. D.K. Bakshi, who actually truly means well for everyone and is always motivating. And I know what it takes to organize a program here. And it's going to be in one of the best hotels. How he's sitting there and helping me arrange it is amazing. I think 90% of the work he's doing and 10% of the work I'm doing.
Oh, no.
So
that's your humility. You work
still,
for this event. And
still, so, to be there as a support, it's, and to, keep, not try to hog the limelight there and, be there as a support. And he's going to do that with all the chapter heads. It's not just me, anyone who organizes, his power is going to be behind them. And that is what makes him very special. So thank you very much. We end this program now. It was lovely hearing all of you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
wish you all the best and good luck to all of you and your families. Hashtag Women Power Global Movement. 1 million women on this platform by 2024. Let's rock the world. Let's create that women is quality. Let's create that gender equality is the power of the world. Let's create that without women, this world looks nothing.
Thank you.
So I will call it WCB, World Class Beauty, this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Namaskar.